My name is Moyo, and I'm a doctoral student in the Department of Economics. My research focuses on labor market issues, and I'm also a research assistant at Spark within the Brighter Spark team. Brighter Spark is a research institute, that's what I like to call it, but it's a group of researchers from different disciplines, and then we come together to ensure that we're able to do social research. Much more than that, we also help researchers on campus as well. So if you have questions, you can come in to talk to one of our specialists. They would help you put you through research methods. If you're thinking of like what software to use for whatever, we're able to help you with that.
So Spark exists as a center that focuses on research methodology across the social sciences and the fact that research methodology is constantly changing. And so we are always looking for what it is that might be tripping researchers up. Within Spark, we have a number of businesses that help to generate revenues that fund the free activities of the center. And so one of those is called Brighter Spark Applied Research. And what we do is we work with government, sometimes companies, a lot of not-for-profits to do applied research or evaluation about their projects and the kinds of questions that they want to answer.
But the core team, which is the Brighter Spark team, we mostly focus on social research. So we try to engage with the community, look at community programs and partners and organizations, and try to do research with whatever data they have.
And through that work, we began to really think about research data management. And so began to explore a lot of what's coming up around that and realizing that if it was a challenge for our team, it was going to be a challenge across teams. And so Data Champions largely came out of this recognition of how challenging it can be to integrate research data management in some kinds of project contexts.
Typically, we all work remotely, at least most of the time anyways. And so the way we do our projects is we get a project, we get, once things are finalized, we're able to divide up the work between researchers. And so because we don't all work in the same place, it's very important for us to really communicate with each other and document things, because if not, the other person will not know what one is doing. And so at the end of the day, what tends to happen is we just divvy up the work, everyone gets a portion of it, do whatever you want, and then come back together at the end to just bring everything together. Yeah, I kind of feel ashamed to say this, but it is part of the process, right? Yeah, we were doing really good work when it came to research data management. It did help us though, just going through that process, it helped us to reflect on our practices and see what are the processes that we have in place and how is that helping or making things worse when it comes to proper research data management.
We were thrown in to this work really fast and a really big project. And, suddenly I had this team of students and I just winged it because what are you going to do? And over the years, we all started experiencing the challenges of the winging it, and things naturally began to have more structure. With a team of 5 students, and then a lead who had way too many responsibilities, it was still very easy for things to get sloppy. Just because we had processes didn't follow them.
Yeah. I found that a lot of the time we run into problems that would typically arise when you don't have good research data management. So for example, think about replicating the work, right? Someone has done something, but because it wasn't recorded properly, another person's trying to pick up from there and just don't know what to do. So they start all over again. So that happened quite a bit.
It wasn't like we had chaos. We had structures, we had processes, but they were inconsistent. And then when we would go back to a project later, that's when we saw it. That's when it was oh, okay.
Even just forgetting what you did, right? Because it's easy for you in the moment when you're working, you know what you're doing, but if you have to go back to the same thing 2 years later, and you don't have proper documentation, then that's a problem, right?
we have to actually be intentional about this. And so, having learned that very hard lesson that took us a lot of time and was very frustrating, that's what kind of got us on the path of, okay, we're going to get really serious about making sure that all of our data is going to be in a state where if we pick it up again, we know exactly what we did. We are able to follow the exact same process again.
So we as a team, we're committed to research data management. So in as much as it's a very painful process, it's still something that we're still happy about embarking on, just because we know what the end result would be and how much better our processes would be if we actually imbibe all of these practices. So the first thing that came to mind was, oh my goodness, am I really going to be on camera? That's the first thing that came to mind. But yeah, like once I got past that, I thought about it and I was like, okay, like, this is a great opportunity for me to learn and to grow in like just data management in general. And so it just like the initial worry, I wouldn't call it initial worry because it's still a worry, just kind of like faded away. And just looking at the core of things, because at the end of the day, if you think about what the end goal is, it's easier for you to accept whatever bitterness that you're experiencing at the moment, right? And that's what it is for me. It's like, it was daunting at first when I started it, but now going through it, it's still somewhat daunting, not as much daunting, but I'm able to see what the end goal is, right? The end goal is having really good processes, having good structures in place that would help not just myself, but the entire team, and then even help me in my personal work, right? So at the end of the day, it's the benefits is much more larger than any discomfort that I would get from like being in front of a camera or like recording myself do work, right?